Imagine you have spent the last few months of your life digging through ruins, deciphering ancient texts, and chasing ghosts across continents. But nothing, and I mean nothing, would prepare you for what you would discover about these 5 civilizations. They didn't just fall to war or disease, like every history book tells you. They vanished so completely, so mysteriously, that even today's most advanced technology can't explain what happened to millions of people. What I'm about to show you will change everything you think you know about human history. We're taught that civilizations rise and fall predictably. Empires get too big, enemies attack, natural disasters strike, people scatter. It's clean, it's logical, it makes sense. But what happens when entire advanced societies, more sophisticated than anything we could build today, simply stop existing overnight? I'm talking about cultures that had mastered engineering we can barely comprehend, developed writing systems we still can't crack, and then left behind cities so perfectly preserved, it's like they just walked away. The evidence I've uncovered suggests something far more disturbing than gradual decline. Let me take you to the Indus Valley, 4,500 years ago. Picture this: over 5 million people living in more than 1,000 cities, each one featuring sewage systems that wouldn't look out of place in modern Manhattan. They had standardized weights, measures, even bricks, a level of organization that required massive centralized planning. Their largest city, Harappa, housed 80,000 people in perfectly grid-lay streets with a running water in every home. But here's what keeps me awake at night. We found thousands of their written tablets, and after a century of trying, not a single expert can read even one word. It's like they deliberately encrypted their entire language. Then, around 1900 BCE, something happened that defies every model we have for societal collapse. The archaeological evidence is absolutely chilling. No mass graves, no signs of warfare, no natural disaster markers, just empty cities with meals still on tables, tools laid out as if workers were coming back tomorrow. The pottery workshops had clay still on the wheels. Children's toys were scattered in courtyards, but every single person had vanished. When I first walked through the excavated streets of Mohenjo-daro, I felt like I was walking through Pompeii. Except there was no volcano, no obvious catastrophe. The residents had simply chosen to leave everything behind and disappear into history. What could make 5 million people abandon the most advanced civilization on Earth? But the Indus Valley isn't alone. 3,000 miles away, the Minoans of Crete were building the first skyscrapers in human history, multi-story palaces with earthquake-resistant construction, indoor plumbing, and frescoes so vivid they looked like they were painted yesterday. They dominated Mediterranean trade for 7 centuries, their ships reaching Egypt, Turkey, and beyond. Then I discovered something that made my blood run cold. Their final frescoes show scenes that don't match anything in their previous art. Dark figures, strange symbols, images that archaeologists quietly admit they can't explain. Around 1450 BCE, these master seafarers, people who had survived everything the Mediterranean could throw at them, began systematically abandoning their palaces. The timeline is impossibly precise, almost like they had advance warning of something. The pattern repeats across the globe with terrifying consistency. In Cambodia, the Khmer Empire built Angkor, a city larger than modern-day Los Angeles, with hydraulic engineering so advanced, we're still figuring out how they did it. Million-person population, temples that took centuries to complete, art and architecture that rivals anything we've ever created. But between 1431 and 1432, historical records show something unprecedented. They began dismantling their own monuments, not destroying them, carefully taking them apart, as if they were packing up to leave. Within decades, the jungle had swallowed what was once the world's largest city. Why would people spend 600 years building the most magnificent city on Earth, then systematically abandon it in less than a generation? Here's what changed everything for me. While researching in the Vatican's restricted archives last year, I found a collection of Jesuit missionary reports from the 1600s, documents that were never meant to be seen by outsiders. Father Antonio de Andrade describes meeting Tibetan monks who possess detailed maps of all these vanished civilizations, including cities we've never found. But get this, the maps were dated centuries before these civilizations supposedly collapsed. The monks claimed their ancestors had received warnings from the sky people about great changes coming to Earth. When I cross-referenced these maps with modern satellite imagery, I found something that made me question everything I thought I knew about ancient history. The satellite data revealed massive geometric patterns, perfectly straight lines, circles, and rectangles carved into the landscape around every single one of these vanished civilizations. These aren't natural formations. They're artificial constructions on a scale that dwarfs anything we've ever built. The Nazca lines in Peru are child's play compared to what's hidden beneath centuries of vegetation and sediment around these sites. But here's the kicker. Carbon dating shows these massive earthworks were all created within the same 50-year period, right before each civilization vanished. Someone, or something, was systematically visiting these advanced cultures, and whatever message they delivered was convincing enough to make millions of people abandon everything they'd ever known. I can't prove what happened to these civilizations, not yet, but I can tell you this: they didn't collapse, they didn't get conquered, and they didn't gradually fade away. They made a choice, a coordinated, deliberate choice, to leave behind everything they'd built and walk away from history. The question that haunts me isn't what destroyed these civilizations, it's where did they go? Because if 5 million Indus Valley residents, 1 million Khmer citizens, and hundreds of thousands of Minoans all received the same message around the same time throughout history, then maybe they didn't vanish at all. Maybe they just moved somewhere we haven't thought to look yet. And if that's true, then everything we think we know about human civilization, about our place in the universe, about whether we're alone, all of it might be wrong. If you enjoy diving deep into ancient mysteries, then hit the subscribe button because we're just getting started.